So before we start any webinar or any session of Royal Roads, we would like to acknowledge that Royal Roads is located in the traditional lands of the Southeast and the Krusekopf people. And it is with gratitude that today we study here with the people, with Indigenous and non-Indigenous people come together to build the future, to learn from the past and enjoy the present together. So welcome everyone and thank you so much for being here. This would be a good time also if you would like to acknowledge the language you are located. So feel free to add any information in the chat box. Today, we are going to be talking about the MBA in Executive Management. And my name is Andrea Torres, and I'm the Student Recruitment Manager. I'm going to be co-hosting this session with a few people. So the first person that I would like to introduce is Charles. So Charles.
Hello, yeah, I'm Charles Krusekopf, and I'm the program head and a professor at Royal Roads in international business, and I lead the MBA program. So I'll be giving you the overview of the program. And in recognition, as you said just now, the territorial acknowledgement, but yesterday on National Indigenous Peoples Day, we had a huge celebration at Royal Roads. We had over 1,000 people on campus, and I was very honored to be in one of the canoes and to be able to paddle in the beautiful lagoon and on the traditional territories. So it was quite an event and quite an activity. So we welcome anyone who joins us in the program to also join us on campus for activities and events like that. And I'll mention later a special program that we've been developing on Indigenous business development, because this is a really exciting area as well. So I wanted to acknowledge National Indigenous Peoples Day as well. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Charles. Absolutely. It was a beautiful day with a lot of people joining from the community. We have the students, faculty. It was a big celebration where everybody came together. So thank you for bringing that and reminding us that this is Indigenous Month. And yesterday was the National Indigenous Day, and we were guiding on campus. There are two more people joining us today in this webinar. We have Annie Luke. She's an MBA student. Annie, if you would like, I know we are going to hear more about your experience in a few minutes, but anything that you would like to share with people now?
Yeah, hello everyone. I am an MBA student, started off in the 18-month and had to do an extension just because I went back to full-time work in Toronto. I own my own company as well called Cruz, and it's an electric scooter company. So I founded that in May 2020 and then began the MBA program in July 2020. But I will speak more on that later on.
Thank you, Annie. And we also have James Moreland. James is an MBA grad, and James, welcome.
Yeah, thanks very much. I'm also coming to you today from the traditional territories of the Lekwungen-speaking people. I work as a commercial manager for an electrical contracting company called Canem Systems. Basically, that means I'm the head of risk management for everybody across the country, and had a great experience. I'll be happy to share with you about my time at Royal Roads.
Thank you, James and Annie, and you will learn more about their experience in a few more minutes. And there's one more person joining us today that her name is Tracy, and Tracy is going to be helping us answer any questions in the chat box. And if you have any questions after this webinar, Tracy will be a great person to connect with, who can provide more details and information about the program. So the agenda for today is get to know a little bit who we are and why we are here. So now you know all the people from Royal Roads that are going to be supporting you today through this webinar. Feel free to share any details about yourself, maybe which city or country are you located, which industry are you working. Feel free to add any information in the chat box that you would like us to learn about who you are as well. I'm going to talk really briefly about Royal Roads University experience, and then Charles is going to talk about the program, the MBA, and the different options available for you. And then Annie and James are going to share a little more about the experience. And at the end, I'm going to talk about the application process. And if you have any questions, please feel free to add those questions in the chat box. And we are going to make sure that we are covering that information through this session. So with that said, we're located in Victoria, BC. For those of you that might not be familiar where we are in Vancouver Island, and it's a beautiful island just across Victoria is across Vancouver. We are just a short ride on ferry, around an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, depending on the currents. And if you are flying from Vancouver, it would be around 25, 30 minutes. We are 25 minutes from, sorry, there's a lot of information about where we are located, but it's very important to understand the context where we are. So we are in Victoria, that is the south of the Vancouver Island, and we are around 20 to 25 minutes from downtown. Victoria is a city that is well known for advanced technology, tourism and hospitality, and the higher ed sector. And our weather is considered one of the mildest weathers in Canada. So if you are someone that likes to be around 4 degrees during the winter and maybe 20 plus during the summer, this will be a great place for you. So our space, Royal Roads University, 2 years ago, we turned 25 years, so we still consider it a young university. And as a young university, we have that entrepreneurial mindset. We are a university that is located in the beautiful grounds of the Lekwungen and the Songhees people. And here you can see a few of the pictures of our beautiful campus that if you are doing during the residency period, you will be able to explore our campus. And we always encourage people to use the space, to use the land as part of your learning process. You will always also see a picture of our a laptop and a person having a conversation with a few members. A lot of the learning at Royal Roads takes place in the online learning environment. And either you are on campus or online, we will be able to set a learning community where you are going to be successful to learn not only from your faculty, but also from your peers. So what makes Royal Roads so special? So we see you more as a qualification, and how that looks like is that we have a flexible admissions policy, that we understand everybody's journey is slightly different, and we will see, or we will assess you when you apply to Royal Roads in a combination of your education and work experience. Royal Roads is a very small community that we like to get to know each other. So it will be very common for faculty to be curious about who you are, why you are taking the program, and how this program is going to help you to move forward in your personal and your professional career. You are going to get the opportunity to go to your classmates because you are going to be working in assignments as teams as well as individual assignments. You are going to be part of that learning community. Either you do the short version of the program or the longest version of the program. You are going to be able to connect with your classmates, and you are going to have that network of professionals that is going to help you to advance your career. And Royal Roads is a change maker campus. So basically what that looks like is that Royal Roads University, all our programs that we design, we have an innovation, and we are also looking how we can solve the world problems and encourage others to be part of that process. So our programs are designed through those lenses, how we can solve the current problems our community are having, our workplace are having. So you are going to have the opportunity to explore those solving those problems through your class and working closely with your faculty and classmates. So with that said, I would like to pass over to you, Charles.
Okay, thank you very much. And again, just reflecting on, I went down yesterday for that National Indigenous Day, and it's such a small community at Royal Roads. It seemed like every time you turn around, there's someone that you know from Royal Roads, and that's something that I think comes through in terms of the type of service we provide and just the feeling. It's a smaller university, and there's a lot of advantages to that. So I think, yeah, so if you're going to advance the slides. So our overall program, we say it's 51 credits. That's the academic credits in British Columbia. Each course is approximately 3 credits. We do have a few 6-credit courses. But overall, you can complete the program. The program is intended to be delivered in this blended format, primarily, where we have 2-week residencies, and then you take online classes. And for the on-campus program, for students who are looking for that on-campus experience, what we've done is combine these blended residencies together with some on-campus courses to create an on-campus experience that you will have. So we can discuss that more for anyone who's interested in that on-campus option. We can talk about that. I'm going to primarily focus on the blended offering. We have 2 intakes each year that we'll talk about, and you come on board you take some online courses and preparation work, and then come into your first residency, work together with your cohort. So we have a cohort that's starting just now. They'll be coming to a residency in August. So they're starting in July, they'll be online, and then coming together as a group of about 40 people in August. So you would then move through the program with the other people in your cohort. And students are either on an 18-month, so if you want to be on the kind of accelerated track where you really want to get it done, you take a couple of classes, and we'll talk about how this works. You take more classes, but do them together with the other people who are on that 18-month program, and move through the program and come back for your second residency towards the end of the program and complete the program in that fashion. Or as Annie mentioned, you know, if you want to take a little bit longer, your work schedule, your family schedule, you can be in the 31-month option, which basically means that you take a bit less intense set of courses in terms of you, instead of taking, say, 2 courses at one time in the online format, you would take 1 course at a time. You have more time to complete your organizational management project, the research project that you do for a company or organization in the program. So it just gives you a bit more time, flexibility, as everyone says. In that, they say, look, we have time to think, to reflect. The pacing just works for us better. Other people really want to complete in the 18 months, so they really want to just move through that. One thing is, this is a cohort-based program. The courses are basically laid out for you, other than you get some choice within your specializations. You're guaranteed to be in your courses, and so people move through the program. I always think of it like a train. The train is moving. You stay on the train. Whenever you start to slip off the train, your teammates, your classmates in the cohort help you out, make sure you can stay on the train, make sure you can get through. And our completion rates for these types of programs are incredibly high. So we get about 90% of people from the start of the program to the end of the program and getting through all of the elements of the program. So it's really a program that allows you to continue to work full-time while you're doing the blended program in the evenings, your coursework, and then also your exercises and things, and working with your team. As I just said, you know, we have the program, the courses that you actually take are the same, whether you choose the 18 or 31-month option. It's just the time to completion and sort of the intensity as you move through the program. And so I'll let James and Annie talk about that more. Yes, it's possible if you want to start in the 18-month program and then you find it's too intense, as Annie, then you drop into the 31-month program. Again, it's the same courses, you're just taking them in a little bit different order. So it's not really a difficult thing to shift. Or you're in 31 months, you want to get finished earlier, you can take on more courses and finish a bit earlier. So we have flexibility in terms of how you move through the program, although you move through in general with your cohort, with the people that you already know, which has been a real bonus and success in the sense of that you really get to know your cohort and move through the program together with that set of people. So we have started an MBA on-campus program. And so primarily, you know, there are some domestic students, Canadian students who are interested in this. We've been running our MBA in Canada for about 25 years in the blended format. So this is a relatively new to start this on-campus program. Royal Roads already has the on-campus Master of Global Management program. And this on-campus program is a way that we can blend together the elements of the MBA blended program, where you're working with mid-career learners and networking and working together with them. So you'll come into the first set of courses in the first residency, and then instead of taking your courses online, because the students in the blended program return to their hometowns, continue working full-time, then those who are in the on-campus program would be able to stay here in Victoria on campus and continue a set of courses on campus, and then come back and take their specialization together with the students who are in the blended program and take their final residency together with the students in the blended program. So basically it allows you to complete the 18-month program just like the blended program, but you do a number of your courses on campus instead of doing them online. So it meets all of the requirements of an on-campus program for the work authorization, work experience visa, and that I'll let my colleagues in admissions and the advisors take you through that if you have questions about that, but it's designed to allow people to meet the on-campus aspects while also gaining the advantage of being able to participate with all of the managers and experienced people in the blended program who are working across Canada. Imagine, this is a really strong cohort of people to become a network, to become supporters, and to help you integrate and to find work in Canada. There's several things that we feel really set our program apart and really give you a lot of opportunities to apply your knowledge. Our program is built for working professionals. So everyone in the program has at least 7 years of work experience. The average age in the program is about 40. So people have on average 15 to 20 years of work experience. Now it's a range from 30 to 60 in the program. But people all have a lot of work and life experience. So that gives you a real chance to apply your learning directly back into your workplace. So a couple of the elements that we have that allow you to do that. Everyone in the program does what's called the Organizational Management Project, the OMP. This is where basically you work on an applied business problem for an organization. That could be the company that you're working in, could be another firm. A lot of people use this opportunity to try out a new idea or a new industry. So they say, well, I could do a project for my company, but that's less interesting to me. That doesn't push me forward. I've come into this program because I'm thinking about making a change. I'm thinking about advancing myself. So what can I do with my OMP that would allow me to gain some exposure to new skills, to new industries, and push myself forward? So the OMP really gives you a great chance to pursue a project that you design together with a partner organization that you're working with to do this project, an applied project where you're really applying new skills to that. Another one is in your second residency, in the final capstone residency that all students in the program will participate in. We have what we call the Live Business Challenge. We have 2 companies who come in, they present on their companies, they discuss their situations, and you work in teams with your cohort members in order to address internal and external, do an analysis of the companies and offer suggestions and reports back. And so the companies present, you gather more information, you go do site visits with the companies, and then you present back. So we have a second residency, a capstone residency occurring starting next week. We have 2 really interesting companies. One's working in the tech sector. It's an Indigenous-led company, a very interesting company that's working there. And another one, another company is a local company here in Victoria that will be able to utilize and apply all of the information that they gain back from the MBA students, taking a deep dive, looking at their organization. The program itself includes courses, many of the courses that you would take in an MBA, strategy, leadership. We really emphasize leadership because that's where people in the program. So the program really is about leadership and management skills because people in the program have come, they're at a place in their organizations where they're in a management role. And so they need to enhance their management skills, managing people, managing projects, managing budgets. So really the program is intended to focus on those skills and help you develop them to develop your career. Another element, a couple of other elements of the program. One is that we have a dual degree option that you can do. So if you're interested in doing our global management program and our MBA, there's a way that you can take the MBA or the MBA program first and then complete a few classes in the MGM program, the Global Management Program, and get 2 degrees. Likewise, if you're interested in the Master Global Management Program, which is offered in an on-campus format at Royal Roads, you can take that program first and then come back and do your MBA. And I mention this in part because if there's any alumni out there, say MGM alumni who are interested in coming back to do their MBA, you've already completed almost all the credits you need. We don't make you retake lots of credits such as finance or accounting or marketing, where the courses are fairly similar across the programs. Therefore, what you would do for the dual degree is just take the set of courses, such as in the MGM program, they have intercultural communications and learning. So that's a course that we don't directly offer an MBA, but you can take it in MGM and gain those skills and complete this dual degree. So it's something that students might consider, and you don't have to decide that right up front. You can complete 1 degree and then come back later after you've graduated to complete the 2nd degree. But it's an option that you can talk about with the admissions advisors and explore as you're considering the programs. Another aspect of our program gives you a lot of choice where you can choose your specialization. So our specializations allow you to customize based upon what your interest and where you want to go. And well, Annie and James can talk about what their specializations were. We opened these up and we created an opportunity. Royal Roads offers over 25 different graduate certificates. So graduate certificates are 3 courses in a specialized area, and I'll give you some examples in a minute. And you can do the MBA and get a graduate certificate credential. So I've done the graduate certificate in executive coaching. If you've already completed a graduate certificate at Royal Roads, you can bring those credits in and you've already completed your specialization. And that means that you have fewer courses that you would need to take to complete your MBA. You can do this graduate certificate before, during, or after your program. And so it becomes the specialization within the program. So some options or some ideas of specializations and graduate certificates that we offer. Within our MBA program, we offer 3 specialization options and graduate certificates. One is in management consulting. So if you want to become a certified management consultant, a CMC in Canada, we are aligned with the CMC educational requirements. So the courses that you take in management consulting within our MBA will give you credits to become a certified management consultant. So I'm told that Royal Roads, out of all of the schools in Canada, we produce the largest number of certified management consultants because our students are at this advanced stage in their career. People are often thinking and looking at coming back to school and say, well, I've been working in human resources for 20 years and I want to become a consultant. I'm moving to a new stage of my career. I want to start doing consulting work, maybe on the side or maybe as a full-time gig. So you can do our management consulting graduate certificate specialization and then get your CMC designation with the Certified Management Consultant Canada. Another specialization we offer is around leadership. And this really looks at both global leadership and emotional intelligence as a leader. As I say, leadership is something that we really emphasize through the whole program because people are in this management and leadership roles within their organization, and it's something people are always working on and they want to improve. Another option is we do an international business option. This is the option that I work with and lead. So we have 2 options. One is in the fall, we offer a program where you can go to Europe. You can go to Grenoble School of Management in France. So we have about 20 students who are going to France in September. I'm looking at going over there with them. Sounds like a lot of fun, a very interesting program where you're looking at innovation and technology development in Europe and within the European Union, and specifically within Grenoble region in southern France. Another option, the option that I lead the students to go, we go to Asia. And so we do some studies online where we're looking at different Asian countries, their economic development and role, the interactions between different countries, Japan, China, South Korea, Southeast Asia, Singapore, and into South Asia. So we look at then how the region is evolving, some of the rivalries, some of the cooperation that's going on, and then we go to Asia for about 10 days and we visit 2 countries. So in the past, we've gone to China, to Shanghai, and then to Seoul in South Korea, or we've gone to Tokyo and then to Hong Kong. So we're looking at going, for example, in our upcoming trip to Ho Chi Minh City in Vietnam, and then go to Tokyo. So we will each year do a trip to Asia and have this pair of cities where people can visit. As I said, Royal Roads has over 20 graduate certificates, other graduate certificates. So there's quite a number from across different programs. I'm happy to talk with you about different options or different things you may be interested in. This one in Indigenous Economic Development is one that I helped to develop and deliver. So this is working with people. If you're in an organization, you want to learn more about how to work effectively with Indigenous companies and emerging Indigenous enterprises, or if you are Indigenous, if you're working within an Indigenous nation and you're looking in the economic development, creating joint ventures, creating new businesses, looking to develop economic development projects within a nation, that's a number of people have taken the program from that. There's also other things that are aligned with different professional organizations, just like management consulting is aligned with the CMC. Project management is aligned with the professional education you need to get your project management certificate. Change management is aligned with that professional organization. Coaching that I took is aligned with the International Coaching Federation. So there's over 20 of these. There's some in environment fields. There's some in these different business fields, communications, and a wide range of fields. So it's really open to you in terms of which ones you want to take. As I say, if you're thinking about coming into the MBA, but you're a bit unsure, one way to think about that is think about doing a graduate certificate. You can do it prior to even starting the MBA. So you can kind of test the waters by taking a graduate certificate and then saying, I can do this. And this has happened to a number of students. They're intimidated about coming in. We have this flexible assessment that we'll talk about. Not everyone in the program has completed an undergraduate degree. People are experienced managers, but they're a bit unsure about, can I really do a master's degree? Can I really come back and successfully complete a master's degree? And so this is one way that you can do that. You can say, well, first, it's lower risk. I'll do a graduate certificate at Royal Roads, get a feel for it, get a feel for that online environment, and then decide if I want to do the MBA. When you complete your graduate certificate, those credits, then you can transfer into the MBA, and you've already completed a chunk of your MBA program. So it's something you can do before. Most people do it while they're in the program. And then a number of people come back and do graduate certificates after they've completed the program. It's always open to you to come back to try additional graduate certificates. So with that, the real stars of the show, we'll turn it over to our 2 alumni, Annie Luke and James Moreland. You briefly met them, and I believe I'm leading the questions and discussion with Annie and James. So I invite you guys into the conversation, and maybe we'll just trade off, and maybe we'll just do it in that order. Annie first, and then James. So why don't you, first couple of questions here around, just tell us a little bit about yourself. You told us before some of what you're doing, and then what drew you to Royal Roads and the MBA, and then you mentioned about the 18-month or 31-month, and maybe why you chose the option that you did.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name's Annie. I was actually, I did the undergraduate accelerated degree at Royal Roads previously for international hotel management. So I already had familiarization with the staff and with how the culture is at Royal Roads, and it really does breed it breeds a lot of collaboration. I really love the mentality of Royal Roads. I found out, through the long process of universities, as one does, that big classrooms just don't work for me, big lecture halls. I do need a little bit more of an intimate environment where I get to know my peers and as well as my professors. I loved my experience at Royal Roads. It's a gorgeous campus. If you ever have an opportunity to visit, even if you just do distance learning and happen to visit later on, do it. I highly recommend it. I graduated from the BA IHM, so International Hotel Management, and then I worked for a few years in hotels as a manager, and originally wanted to pursue my MBA at Royal Roads in 2025, just because I knew exactly what that product and that service and experience is like, and it was something, to me at least, that was going to be a guaranteed investment and value add in my life. So originally I was going to do it in 2025. As we know, COVID hit, and I kind of reversed my 5-year plan and applied and, crossed my fingers. I knew that normally you would want a little bit more experience under your helm, but I did qualify for it and got in, thankfully. I was a cohort representative as well for the duration of the program, and just started my own company amidst the chaos of the pandemic, because why not? As someone in hospitality, you guys might know that we have a lot of energy. So if we have nothing to do, we tend to find something to do. And anyway, so that's what drew me back to Royal Roads immediately. It was always in my, my mirror. And then I specialized in the management consultant. So the leadership consultant program, which is essentially consulting with leadership teams. I found that really useful already, going back to my hotel and kind of identifying some of the the dysfunctions in leadership teams and how that trickles down to the bottom line and also impacts morale and staff appreciation, etc. I originally did the 18-month, and I only extended for the OMP section of it, so the organizational management project, which I think it's because a lot of it has to do because I'm really passionate about the company that I've chosen. It's a nonprofit, so I really want to do them justice. I also was recalled back to work in February, so I was able to do the residency online just in the nick of time, and then I got recalled, and that really caused a little bit of minutia between me and actually getting my 18 months done. But I think you just have to have the mindset of Royal Roads is very adaptable in many ways. The staff are incredible. I can't say enough about the experience with Royal Roads, and I think it says for itself that I've returned as an undergraduate alum and went to pursue my master's as well. But it is, the experience is what you give it at the end of the day. And if you allow yourself to honor your pace, then everything will happen for you with this program. I had a lot of peers that entered at the 31 months and converted over to the 18. And I also had a lot of peers that entered at 18 months and converted to the 31 months, because life happens, and Royal Roads understands that. Of course, to a degree, you have to, put the pedal to the metal and get going, but it is, I wouldn't stress too much and focus too much on that initially. When you start the 18-month or 31-month, you're going to figure out what pace actually suits you really well early on. I prefer the 18 months because I'm academically impatient. I don't like to hang out for too long. Here for a academic time, not a long time. But yeah, that's been my experience so far. And then James, I'm going to hand it off to you because I think I covered the first 4 questions, and it's your turn.
Thanks, Annie. It's really nice to hear your story, and thanks everybody else for sharing some great information about the program. As far as me, James Moreland, career professional at this point in time, who's taken a very windy route to get exactly where I'm at. When I was a kid graduating from high school, I was like, I never want to go to university. I see my parents working office jobs and just like hated that concept. So I spent a couple of years kind of doing odd things, and then got into a trade and became an electrician while doing a whole bunch of other things on the side, and eventually just kind of wound up finally funneling myself to a position where I moved into an office and started taking on management and realized, all this stuff I never want to do, it's actually pretty fun and I'm really good at it. and consistent to head down that path of leadership and management, you know, for the last decade. And kind of hit that point where I was like, okay, I understand a good portion of what's in front of me, but I want to know more about the larger business environment and how I could be more impactful doing what it was I was doing. Not necessarily trying to open up bigger doors, but just become a better and more efficient manager and professional. So I finally settled on getting my MBA, but I didn't have an undergraduate degree. I had no post-secondary experience at that point in time. So I started looking around to see what programs were available, and there was a bunch of them across Canada and the States, and some offered to Australia that were flexible enough that might have an admission requirement that would let me in, but still allow me to keep working. And of the ones I looked at, Royal Roads was just the most appealing of them all. Seemed to be the most professional looking. You know, it helped that I happened to live in Victoria and it was reasonably close, even though most of it was done in remotely, but I knew the school had a good reputation. So I very nervously submitted my application based on my years of experience and was accepted through their flexible admissions model. I had to do a preliminary course to basically learn to write at an academic level with academic arguments and papers. And I gotta say that doing that was a godsend. I would not have made it through my residency had I not had that crash course that was part of that flexible admissions requirement. But then once I got into the program, you know, looking around at all of these brilliant, unbelievably intellectual people, all at same or further, some a little bit less points in their career, but so smart when I got to my cohort and definitely did not feel like I belonged there at all. And found out, you know, months down later that that's how everybody felt. Nobody felt like they were good enough to be in the program, but we all managed to just dig in and bond together and just kind of get through it all together. And once you got into it, you develop that rhythm, you get into it, drink from the fire hose for the first little bit of your residency. But it's amazing and a wonderful experience. And I'm so glad that I wound up choosing Royal Roads and we went through that, because I don't think I would have had that level of camaraderie someplace else. And it was so valuable. And at the end of the day, you know, I was really worried, didn't think I was going to be able to get there, but yeah, just kind of managed to tough it out and worked out great. As far as my specialization, this is probably one of my favorite things, other than all the people I met and the good connections I've made, is because Royal Roads has opened up their ability to take those different grad certifications. I have a dual certification right now. I have my MBA, but I also have a graduate certificate in the science and policy of climate change. And I took that thinking, knowing where the world's heading, knowing how drastically things are changing and how unstable our future is going to look, that there is going to be a significant social need, but also a significant economic market for anyone who can understand the principles of sustainability married with business. And I'm already, without really talking about things I can't talk, I'm already in a position where I'm moving myself professionally down that path. But being able to be offered the opportunity to take something I was passionate about that was really good and combining that with my business degree, it was so much value to me at the end of the day, and it's really starting to pay dividends. So I think the specialization piece from Royal Roads is one of the best things that they have to offer for anyone who's interested in the program, but maybe wants a little bit more flexibility out of their degree than just getting a standard full business education. It can really help take you kind of to a unique new field or someplace else that you want to go, where you might find a bit better value alignment. And then to catch up to Annie, I guess I took the 18-month program because I am also very impatient. I wound up having to extend that a little bit just because of the timing of when my grad certification specialization happened. So I had to take an extra 3 months on my program, which delayed my convocation by 6 months, but I still got my degree and I still graduated and got my degree pretty much on time. So I did it all in about 21 months for the program. And the pace was fast, but it was definitely doable, especially going through it with that collection of the team, and, you know, really leaning on some of my cohort members and my teammates when I needed it and helping them out when I could. So that's why I did the 18-month program. It worked out really well for me.
Yeah, no, listening to you, and I know from the program and even my own experience during the program at Royal Roads, I mean, those teammates and your cohort mates are very important. And, we have the questions about, how this, and you've addressed it somewhat around how RRU's MBA has benefited your career. I thought also reflecting out, who were some of the people on your team and in your cohort, and other stories about how people benefited from the MBA.
Yeah, I mean, great question, Charles. I think James really, hit the nail on the head there where it comes to the collaboration and the ethos of the group that you're graduating and you're studying with. There is that, there's a very strong understanding early on that we're all in it together, and we do have to ebb and flow in some ways depending on how people's personal lives are, going, and also their work-life balance and everything. So we really did, at least in my group, adapt, constantly be adapting and shifting. And I gotta say, like, as a cohort rep, I had a lot of students reaching out to me who were very stressed about things, and sometimes they just needed a sound. They just needed someone to bounce ideas off of and talk things through with. But I saw a lot of change in people. When we look at the MBA, a lot of people think, okay, I'm going to academically add tools to my shed and, sharpen knives and everything like that. And that's absolutely what it's for. But on the other side, there's also a lot of personal development that transpires. I see a lot of, even over the camera, I see body language changing. I see the confidence start to boost. People start to see themselves as higher value than they entered in as. Early on, a lot of people kind of, not self-sabotage, but they had a little bit of the imposter syndrome of, did I get where I got because of luck of the draw? And then over time, they realized, no, I actually do have these skills, and they've just been dormant for a little bit, or this is a great reminder, or this course really inspired me to understand that this isn't a weakness of mine. This is just, I haven't given it the time of day to actually be able to hone in on it. And now I love it. As James mentioned, the office job was something that was just like not of interest, but there are aspects of that you do have innate skills, and there are some courses or even just interactions with peers that really ignite that fire. So when I first started, I'm just looking at the questions here. One of the concerns I had was academic writing. It had been, a few years since I'd done it. I have been in such a business mindset of writing, so I forgot what it was like to cite sources and everything. One of the big recommendations I would have, just from my learning, and I didn't do this, so do as I say, not as I do mentality, is go do that academic writing course and, get your feet wet a little bit before you go into the MBA program, because it can be a little bit of a cold shock to the body when you first do it. I actually did the math entrance course just to, and I wasn't told to do it. I just decided to do it so that I had a warm up a little bit. Always stretch before you run, right? It's the same thing for academic too. And when going back to Charles' question about, what are some of the rewarding experiences and everything, I think once you get to know the Royal Roads mentality of the collaboration and building that strong culture, you start to look at the courses differently and how you can actually deliver on what the professors are asking, but in a way that really does honor what you need as a student. So one of the things that we did, at least, was I asked one of the professors, hey, forums are great. I understand that we need to do it. However, is there a way we can do kind of a forum, but also a Zoom call where we can actually discuss the questions together live and experience that a level of classroom style? And I put forth, the proposal, how it would work so that everyone does contribute. We still are doing a forum, but we're doing it live style, and the professor approved it. But the big thing about that is understanding what the Royal Roads culture is and making sure that proposal does fall within the parameters of that. But it was really great for us to be able to kind of challenge the status quo a little bit, but also be able to contribute as students to a higher level than sometimes we would be able to otherwise. For me as a cohort rep, it's been really rewarding, honestly, seeing my colleagues graduate. So they graduated in June, and then I'm graduating. My convocation is going to be November, and I feel like a proud mama. I don't know what to say. There's a lot of these students that were having emotional breakdowns over the phone with me sometimes, and it was very rewarding to see them be up against it and completely intimidated by it and overcome it. And here they are now in their robes and gowns and so proud of themselves. I can't explain really how rewarding that feeling is, but knowing how far that road was for them originally and how many steps they had to build to get there, it's truly an incredible experience. One of the challenging parts of the program was, I think, the distance learning. I really underestimated that. For me, I am very, I'm a personable person. I enjoy being around people. It was really challenging to feel like I was just getting to know people over a screen. And also screen time was challenging for the residency. So my big recommendation is, even if you don't have prescribed glasses, get glasses that have screen protectors on them. $30, easy, okay? And then find time to make time just to talk about things outside of the classroom. We did weekly calls where we just whoever wanted to hop in could hop in for an hour, and we would just talk, and people would bring beer or wine or coffee, and we would just talk about things that had nothing to do with school and just be able to kind of break away a little bit from that. Forming those connections and everything, like the networking aspect of an MBA can be really remarkable for you down the road. You never know when you're going to need to ask for help and who you're going to need to ask for help from. So bear that in mind as well. That's very much part of the experience. James, did you want to talk about, I know that you kind of went over the rewarding and challenging aspects. Did you want to talk about how you balanced everything?
Yeah, so for me, it was a bit of a balancing act. I have it was fun because we did our in-group residency for us. I did my degree throughout the course of the pandemic. So February 2020, 40 people get together on Royal Roads campus for 2.5 weeks. And then I head home after taking 3 weeks off work. I head back to the office for 1 week. And then all of a sudden I'm working from home for the next 2 years. And that was the story for everyone in my cohort, basically. We were all grappling and dealing with everything that was going on through the pandemic. And that made it kind of challenging for a lot of people to kind of get through those headspaces, to adapt to all of that isolation while working through the program at the same time. For me, it was a lot of managing, that kind of personal isolation and independence, as well as my schedule. But after a few weeks, it kind of fell into that little bit of a routine, and going through the program with a team was really, really helpful on that. And I know I wasn't the only one. I can think back to, a few months after that whole thing started, there was a massive flood that happened in Fort McMurray. One of the people who was on my teammates had just had a new baby, was grappling with the pandemic, working a full-time job, doing his MBA, and then his business and his home got flooded out. And our entire MBA group got together, and we pooled a little bit of money and sent some stuff to him, got him and his wife some support for setting them up at a hotel and a bunch of gift cards and a bunch of stuff. And just kind of that was a good example of the whole mentality that we had going through everything. I can remember on one of our distance learning semesters as well, we were doing both internal process management and marketing classes at the same time. And internal process management, I have a lot of experience with that from where I was coming from. So for my team, I was the subject matter expert, but marketing was like pulling teeth. But one of my other teammates managed to carry me across the line, kicking and screaming. And I learned a bunch of stuff about marketing I wasn't expecting. I think that was probably one of the biggest challenges for me, is the MBA course load is so broad. There's so much about business that you're never actually going to be focused on. And some of it is going to be really foreign and challenging. But just managing the actual business on that point, learning to work well with your teammates and use those soft skills that you'll learn in your residency and early on to kind of manage your own workload. I felt like that was kind of a really kind of a metaphysical way of learning all of that and applying those soft skills in a little bit of a petri dish, how to work with my teams and delegate responsibilities as to where our strengths were and stuff. And I was immediately able to take all of that learning back and apply it to my actual career, which was an unbelievably valuable experience about having real world actionable benefits from the education you're taking at the same time. I thought that was a consistently aware of it going through the program, that was one of the best benefits that I had. So I'm not going to lie and say that it was easy. I'm not going to lie and say that it wasn't a lot to manage a schedule of full-time school and full-time work. But it was better for me at the end of the day. I think I got more out of doing it that way. You know, and we had people go through our cohort. One of them had 7 children. 2 of them lived out of the house, but 5 of them still lived at home. And she was just knocking it out of the park and crushing on things. There was tough days, and you know, we would bond together. You know, as a cohort rep myself, I also listened to a little bit of those tough days, but it was really good to see everybody kind of pull through and bind through it, and that was fantastic. And you know, because doing the program through the pandemic, all of the in-person graduational ceremonies for the last few years have been delayed until a couple weeks ago. So a bunch of my cohort got back into town in Victoria a couple weeks ago, and 10 of us got together for dinner, and it was really nice to hear everybody talk about all the successes that they've gone through, and how, oh yeah, you know, Bridget's working in this new career that she got a link to from Kim over there, who kind of like got them connected through the networking thing. So seeing all of those successes that have come from that, and everybody, so many people had changed career paths or taken new roles of responsibility, even just after recently graduating. It was a lot of great things that came out of there. Sorry, I might have digressed a little bit and not really answered all the questions, but I think I kind of got through most of them.
I just, it's excellent. And as always, you two, you know, your advice and your information is really the most important. And I'll say, I know Andrea's going to tell me that, hey, we need to move on so that we can tell them about applying and financial aid and all of those things. So we will do that. And I will thank you too. And we're here, we're on the chat if anyone has questions. And I'm sure James and Annie, you two would say, and other people in the program as well, if anyone wants to be connected to an alum or a current student in your area or in your field, just reach out to us, and we have a network of people and happy to talk with you. And you know, we don't pay them anymore. We don't control it, so they can be completely honest about their experience and all the different things. And it's a great way to learn more about the program and just whether it's the right fit for you. So thank you guys very much. Andrea, I'm going to turn it back over so you can close us out.
No, thank you, Charles. Thank you, Annie and James. James, I'm so glad you were able to connect with your classmates over the convocation that we have a few weeks ago. And Annie, we look forward to celebrating you in November, when hopefully you can make it all the way from Toronto to Victoria, and we can celebrate you as well. And so now I'm going to talk about how to apply. So the first piece, at Royal Roads, we have something that we call standard admissions and flexible admissions. James and Annie have shared a little bit about how that looks like, but I'm going to provide more details. So standard admissions are for those people that have an undergrad degree in a recognized post-secondary institution, and also they have at least 7 years of work experience full-time, with at least 3 years at the management level and increasing level of responsibilities. Demonstrating writing and numeracy skills to succeed in the program is something that is very important. And as James and Annie said, there is some courses through continuous studies at Royal Roads that you can complete that can help you to prepare and set you for success into the program. So those courses are, one is academic writing and critical thinking, and the second course is called accounting preparatory course. Flexible admissions are for those people that maybe don't have a traditional 4 years of undergrad degree, but they have been maybe have a career in trades, or they just have done things slightly different. They did a few years in a college, and then they have been working for a while. So for those people, we will be considering them flexible admissions, and we are looking at a list of around 10 years of full-time business experience. And once again, we want to see that increasing of level of responsibility. So I know the information I'm providing here can be generic, and you might be unsure, do I'm flexible, do I'm at standard admissions, and we understand everybody's path is slightly different. So if you have any questions or you are unsure, Tracy and the enrollment advisors will be happy to assist you through this process, and I'm going to be sharing the information in a little bit. At Royal Roads, we have something that is very exciting and interesting. It's called rolling admissions. Before I go into additional courses, rolling admissions means that once you complete your application and submit all your documents, we'll start assessing your application process. It's not that we wait for the deadline to start looking into your application. So if we have any questions, we will always be able to connect with you and reach out to you. Some of those additional courses that we recommend is financial accounting, managerial accounting, academic writing, and critical thinking. Those courses are offered fully online. And if you're coming to flexible admissions, we would recommend them to complete the courses before the program starts. If you are coming to standard admissions and it's something that you're doing for your personal development or just getting your way, I think as Annie said, if you want to do a little bit of a stretching before you start the run, we highly recommend to look into those courses. Language requirements. So if English is not your first language, you will need to submit one of the tests that Royal Roads University accepts into the program. So you will need to submit the official English language proficiency score, the graduation from college or university at which English was the primary language of instructions in English speaking country, or the completion of our program that Royal Roads offers that are pathway programs through our Global Learning and Language Center at Royal Roads University. If English is not your first language and you have questions about it, feel free to reach out to Tracy and her team, and they will be able to assist you with which test Royal Roads University will accept for the MBA program. Key dates. For the winter intake, for the 18 and 31 months blended program, our application deadline will be October the 9th, and you will start the program in January 9, 2023. For our summer intake, 18 and 30 months blended, we will start in July 17, 2023, and the application deadline will be April 17, 2023. And then if you're interested or looking into our on-campus program, our next intake will be July 2023. So if you have any questions, or if you want to set up your application process, please start it now, and we will be happy to provide any other details. So now the most exciting piece, how to apply. Now you have all the information, you have the opportunity to meet with Charles, learn from the experience of Annie and James. So this is how you start your application. First, you will need to submit an online application. The cost is $131.39. And after that, you will need to submit the following documents. And the first document will be any official transcripts of any post-secondary institution program that you have completed. So if you did 2 years in a college and then maybe you came to Royal Roads and did year 3 and 4, we will need the transcripts from both institutions. And they have to come either in a sealed envelope to be official, or now universities across Canada around the world, they're sending the email directly from this university or college directly to Royal Roads University. The next document is a detailed resume. When we look for a detailed resume, we're not looking for those 2 pages application job when you're applying to a job. We really want to know about who you are and what to get to know you. So we want to know about any credit or non-credit education that you have done. We want to know about your work experience. In your work experience, it's very important that you provide the timeline of that you were working in the organization, but also what kind of role you had in that organization. So it's very important that you give us a small paragraph or some bullet points about the kind of responsibilities you had. As well, any volunteer activities that you have done or you're currently doing. If you are part of any professional association, please feel free to share all those details with us. The next document is one of my favorite documents. I'm also a Royal Roads University grad, and is a personal statement or the statement of intent. Some of the important pieces about this document is we really want to understand what is your motivation, why you're applying into the MBA program. And we have a few questions in our website that we really want you to answer. But basically, knowing about your motivation, what you are bringing to the program, what your area of expertise, how you are hoping to challenge yourself, how is the MBA going to help you to set you for success. So we are going to be able to share more details in the chat box about that detailed application guidelines, but I will also share the link in our YouTube channel. We will ask as well for a writing sample and 2 letters of reference. For the letters of reference, if you feel comfortable, please share that personal statement with the people that write those letters so they have a better understanding of why you're applying to the program, and they can make a reference about specific project that you work together and overall experience working with you. Financial aid. So if you are looking to apply to our programs and you would like to learn more about the different awards available at Royal Roads, I highly recommend to visit our website, Financial Aid Awards, or connect with one of our experts. Depending on if you're doing the 38 months or the 18 months, where in the country or which country you are located, you might have different opportunities available for you. So you can learn more about our loans, awards, research scholarships, and other funding available with Royal Roads. Application support. So if you have any questions about today, all the information that we provide, or when you're going through the application, you are unsure about maybe how to keep moving through the pipe, our enrollment advisors will be happy to support you and connect you through this process. As Charles said, they are also happy to connect you with our faculty, current students, alumni, if you want to learn more about the people experience. So we will be sharing the details of our enrollment team. So here you can reach out to learn that more at royalroads.ca if you have any questions or comments. And if you have any questions about admissions or registration, you can connect and learn more at international@royalroads.ca. So I know I was rushing a little bit at the end. It's just 10:03, and I just want to make sure I provide all the information to everybody. Charles, anything else that you would like to add before we?
No, just that, you know, and I know a number of people are probably going or watching this as a webinar later, a recorded webinar. So, but feel free, if you have some questions, reach out to the admissions advisors, reach out to any of us as the alums or myself. We're happy to talk with you further. If you happen to be in Victoria, where we're finally enjoying some sunny, warm weather, it's hopefully going to be a really nice summer, you know, just come by, and we're around, and someone will be able to meet you, and you can see the beautiful campus. So just let us know.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Charles. Thank you, Annie, James, Tracy, and everybody that came today to learn more about our MBA program at Royal Roads. And we look forward to connecting with you soon. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye for now.